From an Indigenous lens, our ability to connect with spirituality and our spiritual, our Creator is the most important when it comes to treatment. Because I believe to this day that it was the spirituality of our people and it was the spirituality of us as being Anishinaabeg that my daughter sits next to me in this interview today, cured of ALL, of cancer. We believe as Anishinaabeg that we are spiritual beings living a human experience, and so it's important for us to be able to connect with both our creation and also Creator to know that this is going to be going in a good way. And I needed to be able to do this ceremony with one of our particular elders in Toronto in order before any lumbar punctures were done or any type of chemotherapy was given, because it's important for us to start our treatments in a spiritual way. They wanted to start treatment immediately. And so it was important for us to stand on our values as being Anishinaabeg to say, no, this treatment needs to happen after we are able to do the ceremony. And so again, there was a bit of a wrestling back and forth of worldviews of what was important. And so in that, some of the challenges were just logistics. So again, where's the appropriate space to do the ceremony? And if Harmony was safe enough to be able to transport to these particular spaces, and also were these particular spaces, hazard free in the sense of, not having any fire alarms or any of that. I remember the social worker coming back and say, aha, we finally found a place. It wasn't necessarily the best place, but it was a place and a space for us to conduct that. Doing that ceremony with those elders and having that space to be able to support Harmony in her journey and the courage and strength that she was going to need to be able to go through treatment was most important.
So the role of the POGO interlinked nurse is a really unique role to pediatric oncology, children and their families. And what we are basically is like a navigator that helps families transition from hospital to home and provide support between hospital, home and school for children that are in school. So extensive travel is a huge issue. The extent of being away from family and the apprehension about being away from home in a big city. So those are really the big things. It is complicated because the treatments for the children change on a daily basis, but we do find that we have great relationship with the NIHB providers, and so we can work with them, and over the years we've learned to figure out ways to get around those changes. So that's a big component of travel as well. As far as the other aspects, culturally, spiritually, I find that really, really difficult because we don't always know. So first of all, just like every culture is different, every different language and culture within the Aboriginal and Inuit and Métis peoples are different too. So we might have Ojibwe families coming, Mohawk families coming from all different parts of the province, and how do we link them up with the proper people at the tertiary centers if they're there for long periods of time?
After Harmony had received her first set of treatments, it was around the powwow season time. And so I remember this experience like it was yesterday. The head lady dancer knew about Harmony's treatment and knew about Harmony's story. And they had asked us as a family to come out into the middle of the powwow arbor. There was probably about 40+ jingle dancers that day. And they all danced a healing song for Harmony, and they danced hard for that song, and we felt it as a family, felt that spirit was there to be able to help Harmony to get through her treatment. And throughout the whole treatment that Harmony had, that 2.5 years, she never had a bad experience with any of the drugs. She never had any of the side effects from any of the drugs, and we attribute it to that community support and that ceremony that they did for us on that July afternoon. So I think one of the things that I'd like to share with my Indigenous friends who are going through this cancer journey is take a deep breath. You will get through it. It's hard, but you'll get through it. And again, connecting to who you are, that identity piece of who you are as being an Indigenous person, and that connection that you have to the Creator is most important. And so when you go through this, there's going to be a lot of questions that you have. Please, please dig deep and ask the questions, because if you don't ask the questions, then you will feel like you're isolated. And it's important that we continue to advocate for that better care for our kids so that they can survive and they can be cured from cancer.